Before we begin the installation of Proxmox virtual environment, you must understand what are the hardware requirements. As per Proxmox website, the processor which is required is Intel EMT64 or AMD64 with VT AMD V CPU flag, which means that the CPU should support the virtualization. Then the minimum 2 GB of RAM is required for the operating system, and then designated memory for the guests. Then additionally, if you are configuring Ceph storage or ZFS, so for every 1 terabyte of the storage, you will have to have 1 GB of RAM dedicated. And for the fast and redundant storage, best result is with SSDs, of course. So I will also recommend you to use the SSDs. For OS storage, there are two options. If your hardware supports the RAID, then you go for hardware RAID. It must have the batteries protected write cache or BBUs. For non-RAID, you can use ZFS as a software RAID with SSDs cache. For the VM storage, of course, you can use the local storage. If you want to use the local storage, then you go for hardware RAID. If you do not have hardware RAID, then you can go for ZFS and Ceph. But you have to remember, if there is a hardware RAID, then you don't configure ZFS or Ceph. Some of the servers which I have listed in this course are containing the hardware RAID, and some of them are not having the hardware RAID. If hardware RAID is not there, then you can use ZFS or Ceph. I will be recommending to use Ceph storage because this is distributed storage and highly reliable and scalable. Then redundant gigabit NICs are required. If you are using Ceph storage, then 10 Gbps is recommended. And here you can see that additional NICs will be preferred for the storage technology. So if you are using cluster, so I recommend you to use dedicated network connectivity. For PCI pass-through for any of the virtual machines, you must have the CPU with VDD flag or AMD CPU flag. And if you are doing just for the testing purposes, then of course minimum hardware is 64-bit Intel EMT64 or AMD64, and you must have the virtualization capable motherboard for full virtualization support. Minimum 1 GB RAM is required, a simple hard drive is required, one NIC will be more than enough. So if you have a single PC with the CPU that supports virtualization, you can use it for evaluation purpose. And you can also use any virtualization platform, VirtualBox or Hyper-V or VMware. You can install Proxmox on that for testing purpose or for learning purpose. Continue to the next videos where I have given you few recommended hardware that you can use for your home lab or for the enterprise grade virtualization. Let us continue to the next video.